Hey, hey. Hello, hello, hello. How are we, everyone? How's it going this evening? Oh, you're in England. Miss Laura's in England, you guys. Bless her heart, she finally took a freaking vacation. You needed a vacation. I'm glad you're over there enjoying yourself. I told you could have time off. What are you doing here? Hey, Harry. How are you, Harry? From Australia. Good afternoon or evening, Miss Bama. We're over here in Alabama. It is 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, I got a couple of cases. I'm not ready to give you the Courtney Clenny start yet. Okay, here's my thought process. Y'all know how I am. I like to get, hello, Amy. How are you, hon? I like to get really, really, really into the case, right? And I'm just not ready to dive there yet with Courtney Clenny. But I've started my research. I've started my all of my stuff on it. So it's going to be coming very soon. And once we're in there, we are in there. Y'all know this. Y'all know how I get. Hello, Miss Jeannie. Good to see you. So tonight I want to talk about this psychopath kid who unalives his father. He's a teenager. Before graduating high school, he unalives his father. And then after he graduates high school, he unalives his mom. And so you're thinking, oh my God, why wasn't he already in jail, right? That's what I was thinking. Apparently, they didn't have enough to hold him on. Even though he's been Baker acted, which, to remind you guys, Baker acted means that's a Florida thing. Yes, this case is in Florida. Of course it is. In Florida, if someone shows signs that they are a harm to themselves or they are a harm to others, anyone can issue a Baker Act on them. And that basically means that they have to be held and watched over by a psychiatric facility for 72 hours. Amy says this kid sucks. He does suck. Well, here's what happened. So eventually they Baker acted him, but then they ended up additional Baker acting it. So they actually put him in twice, back to back. And then February was when he was showing, issues. And I guess that's when they did that. And he kept going back to his grandmother's house because his grandmother was the one that she wasn't never there. She has a house in Key West. Can you blame her? So he's going over to her house that's like up north, a little bit further north of Tampa. And he's staying over there, hiding out. And then in September, when his mom tries to get him to come home, he does the unthinkable with her. So let's watch what I've put together for you guys on this case. And it should basically fill you in on everything you need to know.
Community told Fox 13 she was house sitting for her neighbor who was away in the Florida Keys. Her neighbor's 17-year-old grandson, Collin Griffith, arrived on Saturday, and shortly before 3 p.m. on Sunday, his mother, 39-year-old Catherine Griffith, arrived, and the two got into an altercation.
They were yelling at one another, and he grabbed her and drug her in the house, and like I said, I don't know what happened on the inside. I really don't. I feel so sad for the mother. I mean, the grandmother. She's a friend of mine.
A murder, a cold-blooded murder of a 39-year-old mother by her 17-year-old son. And it's not just a singular murder. But as we got into the investigation, we found that about a year and a half, maybe a year and 9 months earlier, he murdered his father in Oklahoma. So let me tell you about this. It all started on September the 8th, which was this last Sunday, when we got a 911 call from Collin Griffith, who's 17 years of age. And here's what he said. He said he and his mother had a very long fight, and she fell on a knife and killed herself. and she's bleeding from the neck. He didn't say she killed her, just said he's bleeding from the neck. So our 911 operators appropriately were giving them instructions on how to do life-saving techniques. When the deputies arrived, he met the deputies outside, and he was calm, cool, collected, not upset, and he had blood on him. What we found inside was this knife. This knife is 12 inches long, and of the 12 inches, 8 inches of that is the blade. So he's saying that his mother fell on this knife. We started our investigation at that point. The next morning at the medical examiner's office and the autopsy, the medical examiner said it is not reasonable or plausible that she died the way that he said she did. Just didn't happen. There were witnesses outside the mobile home that actually saw Collin drag his mother into the house by the hair on her head. Collin is about 6 foot and 160 pounds. So an investigation started. This residence was at 77 Hewlett Drive, which is Auburndale, and it's called the Hamptons. It's a 55 and over community. And where it occurred was at Collin's grandmother's house. Collin's grandmother at the time was not there. She has another home in the Keys, and that's where she was. But let me go through some details, because as we start to peel back the layer of this onion, we find out that this is not just a singular event with Collin stabbing his mother in the neck and ultimately killing her. Here's what we found, and follow me as I read a timeline to you. On February 14th, 2023, on Valentine's Day, in Lincoln County, Lincoln County, Oklahoma. There's a Lincoln County, Nebraska too. In Lincoln County, Oklahoma, Collin said that his dad pulled a knife on him, and he shot and killed his dad. That's right. His father was named Charles. He shot him once in the chest and once in the head, and he claimed self-defense. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office and the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations charged Collin with murder in the first degree. They dropped the charges less than a month later. They said they could not disprove Collin's assertion of self-defense. So he was released. Well, when he was released in March of 23, just barely a month after the original murder of his father, he came to Charlotte County, Florida, to live with his mother. And when he came to live with his mother, Collin Griffith, who was 39, you would think things would be better. He would be really, really lucky that, hey, this was a self-defense and I'm here with mom. But 6 months later, guess what happened? He's Baker Acted. So it's September, and as he's getting out of the original Baker Act, he makes a statement that, well, I'll kill myself, or I'll kill my mother by shooting or stabbing her. Charlotte County re-Baker Acts him the same exact day. They keep him 3 more days. Now we're 2 months later. This is November 2023. Collin then is arrested for domestic violence on his mother. And the reason he battered his mother is because she was disciplining him and took his video game privileges away, so he beat up his mother. He pushed her to the ground, and he stomped on her. The grandmother was there and witnessed this. Collin said, "It was self-defense. She made me do it." The grandmother said, "No, no, no. Your mother did not provoke this at all. You simply were being disciplined and made to give up your game because of failure to carry out what you should, empty the garbage, wash the dishes, whatever they gave him to do." He claims self-defense when he stomped his mama, but he went to jail anyway. 3 months later, 12th of February in 2024, he has an argument with his mother, and he runs away from Charlotte County and comes back to Auburndale to his grandmother's house. Now, his grandmother's not there. And we got involved in this on the 12th of February, and the mother said, and the grandmother said, "Hey, we don't feel safe with him around." So our deputies who found him up here as a missing persons reported in Charlotte County turned him over to DCF. 2 days later, on the 14th of February, the anniversary of him killing his dad a year ago, he's reunited with his mother by DCF. Collin made the statement that, "I don't want to go home. I'll use any force necessary to avoid it, to include killing my mother." So that's the second time he threatened to kill his mother. 2 weeks later, so they didn't make him go home on the 14th, but about 2 weeks later, in March of 2024, they reunite Collin with his mother again. Everybody's calmed down. Now, in May of 2024, Collin graduated from an alternative high school in Charlotte County and began attending community college. Now let's advance 4 months later to September the 6th. Collin has an argument about home chores, and he flees from his mother's house again and comes up to his grandmother's house. Grandmother's not there. She's in the Keys. So then mom lets the event calm down, and she tells her son, "Hey, you need to come home." And she asks him to come home and face his responsibility. Collin says, "I'm not coming back home." That was September the 7th. So now we're to the fateful day on September 8th. Mom drives up here to Auburndale from Charlotte County. She arrives at 4 o'clock. At about 4:30, witnesses and neighbors see Collin and mom arguing outside, and Collin grabs his mother by the hair and drags her into the house. Just about 2 hours later, that's when we receive a 911 call where Collin said, "I've had a very, very long fight with mom, and she fell on a knife and she's bleeding from the neck." Our investigation clearly and unequivocally shows that that circumstance did not occur like that. In fact, he used similar language to when he made the 911 call, 18 or 20 months earlier, when he shot and killed his father. It's important to understand, when you look at this, you see a kid. When I look at him, I see a psychopath. I see totally erratic behavior, to the point that he's already, at 17 years of age, shot and killed his father and got away with it, and stabbed his mother in the neck so hard that the knife went all the way through and was to the back of her neck. And she died there. He's being charged with first-degree murder, obviously, and we're asking the state attorney's office, it's their decision, but our state attorney's office is the greatest, to prosecute him as an adult. We've also wrapped back around with the prosecutors, the DA's office, as they call them in Oklahoma, and they said if we develop information during this investigation that allows them, they will reopen the murder investigation in Oklahoma and potentially charge him out there.
I'm Brian Hawes, State Attorney for the 10th Judicial Circuit of Florida. The Polk County Grand Jury indicted Collin Griffith on the charge of first-degree murder for the killing of his mother in Auburndale last week. I made the decision to charge this 17-year-old as an adult based upon the egregious facts and circumstances of this case. Charging a minor as an adult is not a decision that I take lightly, but as state attorney, it is my responsibility to do so when warranted. There have been many questions regarding an incident from Oklahoma last year where Collin Griffith killed his father. While I have been informed that charges were not brought in that case, Polk County law enforcement continues to work with the authorities in Oklahoma to be sure they are provided all relevant information and evidence that will allow them to continue to evaluate their case as they deem necessary. The Polk County, Florida murder charge will now move on to an arraignment. My prosecutors and the deputies from the Polk County Sheriff's Office will continue to work together to pursue justice in this case and hold Collin Griffith accountable for his murder.
All right, State versus Collin Griffith, 24 CF 8410. Mr. Griffith is here by video from the jail. Ms. Thornhill is here on his behalf. Mr. Levine is here for the state. We are scheduled for our first status conference. Ms. Thornhill?
Yes, Judge. And I'm sorry that it was delayed because they were getting his IV at the jail, but he hasn't been able to do canteen or some phone calls because of it. So hopefully that will resolve that problem. At any rate, we've received discovery, at least the initial batch. And I have to meet with a lawyer down in Port Charlotte where Collin is living. He is in the middle of a week-long trial this week, and the hurricane messed up our first appointment. So what I'd like to do is set this for a status in November, if possible, so that I can see how much information he can give me and whether that's going to cause me to have to waive Collin's speedy trial rights, because at this point he does not wish to, and I told him that we'd see what information I get and then talk about it. So,
What are the, I'm sorry, who is it that you need to speak to?
it's Collin's lawyer from Port Charlotte, who had a lot of involvement and has a lot of documentation about his mother, his grandmother, his life, information that I think is going to be relevant to the overall situation.
Is he have any charges down there? This is a
No.
separate situation.
Yeah, this was from a prior incident and some both juvenile and other family-related issues.
I'm sorry.
Your Honor, I don't have an objection to a 2-week reset. It's, I think Mr. Nutter mentioned we have the status is November, do we? November 8th.
Your office, by the way, is here at 8 a.m. today. They
That's fine.
asked that I scheduled at 8 because I think you have some party in your office that day.
Yeah, it's taking pictures. Okay, no,
So reading between the lines then, Mr. Levine, I think what I'm hearing from you is you would be okay with 2 weeks without a waiver of speedy trial, but anything beyond that, we would need to set this on the trial docket.
Yes, Your Honor.
Suggesting.
The state will be asking for the case to be set for trial at that November 8th status conference. If this defense waives speedy trial, then the defense has no objection to that, Your Honor.
And what I was going to suggest, because the lawyer is in trial, and then I have trial's next week. So I don't know when the meeting with him is going to take place. I told him I would check back with him on Monday, this coming Monday. Would it be possible to do it November 22nd, since you already have a specially set status conference that day? Is that too far?
That's beyond the 2 weeks, Mr. Wood.
Right, but I'm wondering if we could adjust it a little. I mean, Speedy doesn't run until March.
Is there any way we can do the 8th, and if that doesn't work, maybe you
Yeah.
can call me?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so we'll set a status then November 8th at 8 a.m. Is there anything else we need to discuss this morning? And Speedy is not waived for the
Right.
record.
And it's at 8 a.m. that day.
8 a.m.
And I have an
That's
8:30.
your boss's request.
Okay. That's fine by me. And I have an 8:30 hearing in another division at 8. So
There are
a lot.
7, 4 of them being death penalty cases, although Mr. Mills is pretty quick. So there are quite a few. You can wrestle with your colleagues about who gets to go first.
It'll also depend on whether they bring Mr. Griffith over.
Yes.
Hopefully by then it won't be an issue.
All right. 8 a.m. Anything else we need to discuss today?
No, you're.
I don't think so.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Colin, I'll come see you soon, okay?
One of her neighbors actually shared text messages that she had exchanged with Kathy with Fox 4 News. The text from Kathy says, "Please do not let Collin or police into my home. I'm not opening my door. And according to my attorney, they have no authority to make me speak with them or to come into my house. Please don't come down and try to come in because they will try to follow you in if you unlock my door. I'm fine and safe. Collin just hates me and I'm tired of this crap." The neighbor responded, "Where are you and how am I going to stop him?" Kathy responded, "Don't give them the keys. I'm home in my room." Another text shows Kathy saying she placed a bookshelf on a wall and cleared out Collin's room and that she was exhausted, reading a book and sleeping. Then there was another text from the morning that Kathy died. It reads, "If Collin texts you again, please tell him he needs to come home. He's violating his probation, which he was supposed to be off of on October 6, 2024, but now he will never be because I'm meeting his probation officer Monday morning if he doesn't come home today by 10 a.m. He knows the time deadline, and he's choosing to skip it and hide at my mom's house in Polk County, which is also a violation." Kathy then texted that she was going to drive to get him, and if Collin didn't get in the car, then Polk County could deal with him. Well, now Polk County is dealing with him.
So that was that. Yeah, so he unalives his father, and they buy him a car. Mommy and grandmommy buy him a car because he graduated high school. Isn't that special? I'm telling you guys, people try to throw money at things to fix things, and it's just not. That is not going to solve the problems. That's not that Band-Aid is not really a Band-Aid. I think he was having a lot. They knew he was having mental issues. They couldn't get through to him. They were trying to figure out what to do next. And I don't know. I kind of just feel like it's, he acts out. I mean, not just acts out, but my Lord, he commits the red rum. So they're going to buy him a car. What do you think's going to happen? You're going to reward him for doing something like that? Jesus. It's not like he didn't. It's not like he broke curfew, people. Okay. These parents these days. And we wonder why these kids are growing up being all crazy. I cannot deal with these young people today. And I know people, it's not a popular topic, but I'm not liking the young people. I'm not liking them. Okay. So anyway, they had a status hearing on November 8th, but I don't think that I looked all over and I couldn't find anything on it. So I've got an alert set up for this case so that if we decide we want to follow it and stay on it, we can. So that's that on that case. But I thought it was interesting. I thought it was one for us to be on alert about. The next case I wanted to talk to you guys about was, you guys remember Susan Lorincz? Let me pull this up. We watched this trial together. Remember, she unalived A.J. Owens? The neighbor? Remember the neighbor who really just, crazy Susan didn't like the neighbor's kids playing out in her yard, even though she lived in a community that's like a apartment complex slash condo. Yeah, well, she's being sentenced on the 25th of November. And I've got that one marked for us to watch the live on that. So for those of you who watched that with us, thank you for being here with us on that case. And we'll see what happens. I'll have to set up a live stream so you guys can go follow it. But there's been a few updates, and apparently they've filed for something. Now, this is probably normal, that what this attorney's doing. But at the same time, I feel like this woman is just... Now they're saying she's mentally incompetent. I don't know. Let's watch this really quick.
The woman who shot and killed her neighbor last year says she deserves a reduced sentence. Susan Lorincz was convicted of manslaughter in the shooting death of A.J. Owens. She is facing 11 and a half up to 30 years in prison. Her attorney filed a motion asking for a punishment that's below that 11 and a half year minimum. They claim Lorincz needs special treatment for a mental disorder and that she shot Owens because she was under extreme duress. Lorincz is scheduled to be sentenced later this month.
So that's that. I just wanted to bring you guys up to date onto what they're doing. I guess it's normal, but her minimum is 11 and a half years. So there were a bunch of us following that one. That one definitely, we have to watch it on the 25th. That's the week of Thanksgiving, isn't it? Or is it Thanksgiving the week before? No, it's the week of Thanksgiving. It's the Monday of Thanksgiving. 2 weeks away. So we'll see what happens on that. There's really nothing that's going on, I don't think, that I've been following between now and then. I've got to look at a couple of things. So then there was a couple of other cases that I found as I was like going through my alerts and things, and I thought we'd kind of look at them and see, just kind of watch them together and see if it's something that maybe if something goes on with them further, if they end up on court TV, we may end up following the trial. So this one is interesting. This is a fatal altercation between neighbors. Oops. Hang on. I just undid the... I don't know. I don't know. This one, we might watch this more than once because it's... First, you got to watch it to figure out who everybody is, and then you got to watch it to kind of understand what's going on. So we'll probably watch it twice. Oops.
Who actually gave us this video. He said, now, this new video shows a deadly shooting in Volusia County last month. The man who pulled the trigger is the one who actually gave us this video. He says his neighbor tried to run him over, forcing him to shoot. Fox 35's Chris Lindsay is in Port Orange, speaking to the gunman.
It's been an emotional stretch for the man and his family. He says that particular evening, he was home watching a game, enjoying the weekend, when he got a phone call that he says caused him to spring into action. A gunshot that tore apart a family.
It's just a horrible situation for everybody involved.
This man, who does not want to show his face, says he got a call from his 16-year-old son claiming one of his neighbors chased him home.
Hurry up and get out of here now. He's going to kill me.
The Volusia Sheriff's Office says that neighbor was 47-year-old Marcus Blicker. Deputies tell us Blicker was aggressively driving at his neighbor's son's car and making threats. The exchange ended in the teen's driveway.
I knew one thing, my son was 8 feet behind me and that guy was not getting to him.
Deputies say the surveillance footage shows the father fire several warning shots. The video then shows Blicker seemingly pulling his truck away, but that's when deputies say Blicker sped his truck at his neighbor and a bystander.
And the dog.
who I was shooting at.
Don't you damn hit the dog.
I just knew my son was screaming, "Dad, somebody's trying to kill me."
Blicker was shot and killed. We spoke with his family a couple days after the tragic incident.
He would have never, ever went down there with intentions to let happen what happened or be a part of that.
The man tells me he's lost sleep over the situation. He wishes the two could have talked through whatever the issue was instead.
I feel so bad for his family and my family, like everybody's family. Nobody wanted this.
As of now, no charges have been filed. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office says what witnesses and the shooter told them aligns with what they saw in the video. However, the investigation is still ongoing. Reporting in
Okay, so I foresee charges being filed on this one. And I foresee some kind of you remember Florida? Stand your ground law. Now he was in their driveway, or he was in their yard, but he was also kind of in and out of their yard. I don't know. It looked like they started firing before he started coming after them in like rearing the truck or driving the truck towards the people. So I don't know about that one, you guys. I feel like if it goes anywhere, it's definitely going to be all over the place, because it's going to be one of those where if they bring in the stand your ground law, there's going to be all kinds of people talking about it. Because it is probably what happened. This is what I'm thinking. Probably what happened was this little brat, 16-year-old, got his truck and his boat, and he probably drove through the guy's yard, or he did something that cut this guy off on the road, or you know how 16-year-old kids are. I'm thinking that there was a reason why that man followed that kid. And to me, when he first drove up and he started following him, it didn't really look that bad. So like, we don't know the story of what happened of when they got to the yard, what happened before they got to the yard. And I think that's the important part. I mean, if somebody's going to follow your kid up, that's fine. But he got out of the car and he started walking up the driveway as if he was going to talk to somebody or yell at somebody. So why all of a sudden, especially if this is a neighbor, why do you have your gun out and ready? Like, what happened to lead up to this? So, yeah. Something's not right here, you guys. Something's not right. We haven't gotten the whole story. So I think this is probably going to be one that we go back and revisit eventually. Because I do think they're going to end up pressing charges. I don't see how they wouldn't. They're going to have to do something in this. A man lost his life. Whew. So anyway, let's move on to the next one that I wanted to look at, which is, have you guys seen this guy, Joshua Hunsucker? Now, this has been going on for a little bit. This was 3 months ago. So I'm a little late to the game. Let's watch this.
Well, new tonight, the Gaston County man accused of killing his wife with eye drops in 2018, then setting a helicopter on fire and faking his own kidnapping, is facing more charges tonight. Court documents just show the new allegations against Joshua Hunsucker include poisoning his child and harassing the parents of his late wife. WCNC Charlotte's Jesse Pierre has been going through the newly obtained court documents all day. Jesse, a lot of disturbing but new details there in that paper there.
That's right. Now, according to court documents, Joshua Hunsucker's 11-year-old daughter was hospitalized last year, and the same substance found in eye drops that killed Stacey Robinson Hunsucker, his late wife, was also found in his daughter's system. Now, documents say Hunsucker's goal was to try to take the heat of the murder accusation off of him and to pin it on Stacey's parents. Now, with all of these new accusations and charges, prosecutors want Hunsucker's bond revoked.
Joshua Hunsucker back behind bars, now facing 4 counts of intimidating a witness and 4 counts of obstruction of justice. This is on top of the first-degree murder and insurance fraud charges he is facing in the death of his wife, Stacey Robinson Hunsucker, in September of 2018. 2 days after her death, Hunsucker filed to collect on her $250,000 life insurance policy. Hunsucker was arrested in December of 2019. Prosecutors say he poisoned her over time with a deadly amount of a component found in eye drops. He had been out on a $1.5 million bond since December of 2019 with electronic monitoring. Prosecutors now wanting that bond revoked. According to new court documents, in February of 2023, Hunsucker is accused of poisoning his daughter by using the same substance that killed his wife. Attorneys say this was an attempt to pin his wife's murder on his in-laws. Prosecutors also note several incidents of harassment and intimidation. This includes Hunsucker routinely taking pictures or videos of Stacey's parents, the Robinsons, driving by their home, sitting in the parking lot of the church the Robinsons attend, and making inappropriate gestures at them. Many of these actions done in front of his daughters. His behavior towards the Robinsons was noted to have become more and more aggressive.
Now, prosecutors filed a motion for Hunsucker's bond to be revoked. The state says it is concerned that Hunsucker's dangerous actions will continue to escalate. Now, Hunsucker could be back in front of a judge as early as next week on this motion.
Wait, he's not in jail right now? I'm sorry, what? Somebody please fill me in the chat. I thought, did she say get his bond revoked? They let him out after all that? He is a nut job, Amy. What in the heck is going on here? Let me go back.
Pictures or videos of Stacey's parents, the Robinsons, driving by their home, sitting in the parking lot of the church the Robinsons attend, and making inappropriate gestures at them. Many of these actions done in front of his daughters. His behavior towards the Robinsons was noted to have become more and more aggressive.
Now, prosecutors filed a motion for Hunsucker's bond to be revoked. The state says it is concerned that Hunsucker's dangerous actions will continue to escalate. Now, Hunsucker could be back in front of a judge as early as next week on this motion. I did reach out to attorneys on both sides of this case, but have not heard back yet. Now, you can find more details on this case, including a detailed timeline, now on WCNC.com. Back to you guys.
Okay, so I don't know. I just wanted to touch on that one because I have not watched anything about that. Apparently, it's been going on for quite some time. So Noni says that he was out on bond, but now he's arrested again. Okay, yeah. If he's gonna act like that, he is a danger to society. Who does that? You guys, I can't get over these criminals. Obviously. I want to touch on one thing before we get off. I'm not going to stay on long this evening because I don't know if you guys can tell, but I've got a really bad head cold. I haven't felt good all week. Did you guys, if you have watched any of the Delphi stuff that I uploaded, so like Richard Allen, he was acting like crazy once he got arrested. And the way he was acting, it only makes him look more guilty. So they're going to do his verdict this week, I'm sure. I'm sure it'll come up this week. And I was actually thinking that there was some possibility of him being innocent. And then until I started hearing about all the crazy stuff he was doing in jail, and I'm thinking, well, maybe he is a nut job, you know? Ooh. Oh, so you guys remember I told you I have a cat now? I have a new cat. I already had a blind cat that I took in from rescue years ago. She's old. So here's what happened. I went to the casinos. Mark will love this. I went to the casinos last week, one night, and I'm on my way home. So I stopped by McDonald's and I'm grabbing a burger. And I'm in the drive-thru and I hear this crying, like a kitty crying. And it was bad. It was like really like distraughtly crying. It was a it was just like really, really bad. So I looked back at this. You know how when you pull up to the drive-thru, you know how the drive-thru windows kind of stick out a little bit, and then then there's bushes next to them. This little thing was in the bushes next to him. He was crying. I'm like, "What are you doing?" And where I was located was like this McDonald's that I stopped at was on the interstate, and it was surrounded by truck stops. It was a very well lit area, but there was like, you know, it was just one of those it was one of those stops on the interstate where a lot of people would stop, heavy traffic, because it was well lit. There was a bunch of places to eat. And there was like no residential areas that I could see that within eyesight. So I was like, what is this baby doing out here like this? So I opened my car door while I'm waiting on the guy to come to the window. I'm opening my car door. I'm like, what are you doing, you little thing? And you know what he did? He climbed into my car. This little cat climbed into my car. So I'm going to show you a picture of him now. This is Huckleberry, my new cat. And you'll see where he likes to get, right in the middle of my workspace, which drives me nuts. But he's actually, he looks small there, but he's actually gotten pretty fat since I've gotten him. He eats a lot. See how big he looks? But he's a baby, you guys. I think he's going to be one of those really large cats. I don't know what you call that because I'm not like an overly cat person. But here's the weird thing about him. And this is why I kept him and I didn't look for an owner or anything, because he's been declawed. All 4 paws, he's been declawed. And I'm like, this baby is out here with no way to protect himself. So I look at the guy in the McDonald's window and I'm like, well, do you know anything about this cat? He's like, no, we've never seen it. And the girl came to the window. She's like, no, we've never seen him. I don't know where he came from. I said, well, you guys, I didn't order a cat. I ordered a burger. I ordered a cheeseburger. Why did you bring me a cat? And they were laughing. So anyway, this little booger is very needy. He cries a lot. But I think now that he's gotten more situated, I do too. I don't like when they declaw on Patty. I mean, it's actually, it goes both ways. It's nice to have a cat that doesn't, tear up furniture. But at the same time, it's like, they have no way to defend themselves. If he ever gets outside my home, I'm going to be scared to death that something's going to happen to him. So he's not, now he doesn't talk to me as much. He follows me around and he'll meow, meow, and he'll talk to me here and there. Him and the other cat, they coexist. They have not gotten they haven't become companions yet. I'm hoping that will eventually happen. He has this little spot. I made a little bed to the right of my computer station, and he's laying on that now. And I try to keep him up there. But look what he does to Frankie. Now, this is underneath my office desk. Frankie is not a fan. Frankie's like, okay, what is this booger doing? Frankie will literally lay like in one half of his bed so that this cat can take up the other half. He's more scared of it. He's more scared of this cat than this cat is of him. So, is it illegal in Michigan to declaw kitties? Oh, well, good. I'm glad. Isn't he cute? He's really cute. He has yellow eyes. He's a sweet little thing. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Again, I'm in my office, and I just don't. I have to get used to him crawling right in front of my space because I'm really weird about that. Like I like my I don't know if you guys could see that table. So I bought one of those banquet tables, and it's like 6 foot long. So I have all my equipment on here, everything I need to go over my cases and stuff. I was like, yeah, finally got this. And now I've got a cat laying in the middle of it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So yeah, that's where we're at. This is my life right now. But yeah, he's sweet. He's very sweet. And how could you not love something like that, right? I just think he's so funny looking the way he sleeps with his little head upside down. He didn't have any injuries on him. So I've got to take him over to the vet, have her check him out. He hasn't been neutered. That's the other thing I thought was really, really weird. I looked over in that area. I looked the different, called the animal services and all that over there. It says, anybody lost a cat? Anybody looking for a cat? Nope. Patty, yep, that's the next thing. I've got to take him. I've had him for about a week. I'm going to take him over to the vet, see if she can check for microchip. I could probably feel for a microchip. I wonder if I could feel one on him. As young as he is, he might have one. And then after that, I mean, if we can find his home and they're like desperately looking for him and everything, cool. But if it's somebody that's going to leave him outside, all of a sudden, I don't know what happened to that cat. He's just gone. Oops, sorry. He left my house too. I don't know where he went. You do not put a declaw cat outside where they cannot defend themselves. We live out in the boondocks out here. So, no. Yeah, he's a sweetheart. So I named him Huckleberry from the movie. And just so you know, you know the movie. You know that movie. I'm your Huckleberry. We said that all the time around here. So that's what his name is. I couldn't think of it. I was thought about naming him something like McNugget, since I got him at McDonald's. But I was like, nah. Aw, shucks, Hook. Barry said. Tombstone. Thank you, Widespread Panic. What is Tombstone? That movie, yes. All right, everyone. I appreciate you being here with me. I know it was a short live. I'm trying to get on this schedule of where I come in every week and give you guys a little live stream. We do a little touch and base, and kind of tell you guys what's going on. Again, we're going to get to the Courtney Clenny case. Once I'm in, and I'm not ready to jump in yet. So give me about a week, maybe, if not longer, 2 weeks, maybe at the most. I thought about Nugget. I thought about the name Nugget, but then I was like, if I name him Nugget, I'm gonna call him McNugget because I got him at McDonald's. So anyway, yeah. Thanks for being here with me, guys, and stay tuned. I'm not going to be uploading anything more on Delphi. I've decided I can't catch up. I tried to catch up. I can't. It's taken me too long, and I didn't want to use her content direct. I wanted to just kind of try to do my own thing with it, and I wasn't able to do it. So, yes, rest in peace, Christian Obamaselli. That chick is crazy. And that's the thing. Y'all know once we dive into that, I'm going to be like all in. I think there's a bunch of pieces to that, too. I think it goes all over the place. So, you guys have a wonderful evening. Stay safe. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. Please make sure that I don't know, are you guys off for work? Of those of you that work, are you off tomorrow? It's a shame that people think, oh, I got a day off because it's Veteran Day, and then we don't really celebrate it. But I want to say thank you to all of our veterans out there for your sacrifice, and not just your sacrifice, but your family's sacrifice too. We appreciate you so, so, so much. So thank you very much. You guys have a blessed evening. Stay safe, and I will talk to you very, very soon.